So, Alan, you wanted to know more details about the hood hibernation? I think Alan might have just I don't start going off on that.
And I'm assuming that you probably don't do that very often with a constant volume building. With a VAV building, how do you maintain negative pressure, and how? I'm really surprised that you're willing to do that for as short a time as 3 months.
Yeah, so this began with our energy management department. They figured that it costs, about $3,000 a year to operate a fume hood, and that if they turned it off, it would save energy within a couple of months, and we wanted to reap some sort of reward. So that 3 months came from their calculations of how long it needed to be off, and then a little bit more to save on some energy. So what they do, a control tech goes in, there needs to be some sort of other exhaust, some general exhaust in the room, and they will lock the hood down, turn, if it's on a single fan, that fan gets turned off. If it's on manifolded system, then they make the changes within the mechanical system so that fume hood is off and everybody else is balanced. And then they make sure that that particular space, that now the fume hood that may or may not have been driving the exhaust in the room, that it is negative again. So there's only a certain couple of people on campus that are allowed to do that. And when the request comes through, they hibernate it, and then the building coordinator that initiated this, whether it initially came from the folks in the lab, it has to go through the building coordinator. When that time has passed and they want it to be turned back on, then they contact the same people and they reverse the process. Does that answer your question or explain things?
Well, my question is, first is that a lot of labs are not driven by hood, so it wouldn't really save any energy. And what was yours?
How would you?
Yeah.
How?
Go ahead.
Sorry. This is Fred Haynes. I was just curious how you label the hoods, or how do they know not to use them?
There is a sign that goes right on the sash, and in a lot of cases they're just simply taped right down. Is not functioning, so if somebody does lift it up, hopefully they notice, but it is sort of locked down in a real obvious way that is not to be used. So to speak to the labs that you're not going to save, because they're larger than 500 square feet. If you have a hood-driven lab, as a lab that's smaller than 500 square feet, if you have a space that there's a single hood and it's not driving the ventilation, we still like to do that because it's part of the sustainability movement. When folks see a fume hood that is shut down, that is a lab that we consider doing green practices, and it's part of the awareness process. And so we'll still want to hibernate that fume hood just because it's another piece of awareness for the folks that are in the labs of what our goals are and what our processes are. They'll see a fume hood that's locked down, and they may ask about it, and then in their lab, they may have a hood that could be hibernated, that it would be a place that saves energy. So there's still advantages to doing it.
Does the lab lose the counter space that is in the hood?
Yeah, we've tried to, that is a premium in some spaces. We have tried to shut down the hoods and leave the sash up. It depends on what the control tech can do. And if you don't want cold air. Wait, is somebody else speaking? Oh, okay, sorry. We don't want cold air to be dumping down into the lab. So, and sometimes if it's on its own fan, it may leak down. But there has been cases, a couple of cases that I know of, where it was something that they could do. And so the sash is up. There needs to be some other signage, or they put that sign someplace else so that folks know that that hood is okay for bench space, but not to be used as a fume hood. But it's case by case. Everybody, is there anything else?
Ellen, again, this is Bill Chudy. Thanks again for a great presentation. I just wanted to mention while we had this group, that the Better Building Summit is coming up in May, and in Washington, D.C., and it's May 7th through 9. We're going to have a breakout session with the labs team, anybody that's there. So I would encourage people to attend, and if you do plan to attend, if you could let me know, we'll plan to work the agenda around what you're interested in. So I guess we can sign off if there's no more questions.
Okay. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Hi, we have a question from our campus engineer.
Okay.
Okay.
Maybe in a general way you can answer what your experience is with low-flow hoods, and do you need a variance on the face velocity? In California, we have a very rigid Cal OSHA that will not go any lower than 100 feet per minute. What's the standard that you have in New York?
We don't. We don't. It's got to pass ASHRAE 110, so it needs to contain, and that is, of course, in the Z9.5. We don't need a variance, so we do have hoods that can go lower around the state. For us, we designed to 100 feet per minute, but we're hoping for more, 80 feet per minute, and that's really just our being conservative. We'd like to see more 80 feet per minute, but we're strict that they need to look and be operated the same as the other hoods. We don't want to cause confusion with our technician that has to test these. We want to have the trainings that we offer to the lab folks on how to use these. We don't want them to go look at their fume hood and have it be something that's so different and that it causes confusion. Did that answer that?
That's great. Thank you, Ellen.
Okay.